A fraction represents a proportion of a whole, and in a similar way, decimals also represent a proportion of a whole. So that means that we should be able to convert from a fraction to a decimal. In example 2, it shows you how to convert 1/5 into a decimal by multiplying the numerator and the denominator by 2 to get 2/10, which then becomes 0.2. I'm going to show you another way of doing it. It'll come up with exactly the same answer. We'll use the same problem. 1/5 means 1 divided by 5. So if we perform that operation, 1 divided by 5, 5 goes into 1, so there's nothing in the whole number position, decimal point above the decimal point. 5 goes into 10 twice. So the answer is 0.2. We'll look at 3/4. That's this one. And that means 3 divided by 4. So 4 divided into 3. Four divides into 3, doesn't go. 4 into 30 goes 7 times, with 2 left over. 4 into 20 goes 5 times. So that's the easiest way of converting fractions into decimals. On this page you're asked to do another example of converting a fraction into a decimal. So I'll let you practice that one on your own. And when you've done that, we'll move on to changing decimals back to fractions. Now there aren't many examples of this in your study guide, so we'll have a look at working through some of the ones that they've listed here, and that is, first one, 0.3. Well, the 3 is in the tenths position, so this means 3/10. That's a very simple one. We'll look at their 0.25, or if you like, 0.25. It means the same thing. The 5 is in the hundredths position, the 2 is in the tenths position, so this is 25 hundredths. So that's a that's a fraction, but you should simplify it to its simplest form. And you can see you can divide 5 into both 25 and 100. 5 goes into 25 5 times. 5 goes into 100 20 times, so you've got 5/20. And you should see that that also has another factor of 5, so you will be able to simplify it to 1/4. 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 24 times. Now I'm going to give you another one to have a little practice at, and that will be 0.625. You'll rewrite it as 625 over 1000, because the 5 now is in the thousandths position, or in the thousandths place value. See if you can get an answer for this one. which is 5/8 when you simplify. On this page we're going to classify the fractions. Proper fractions have a numerator which is smaller than the denominator. For example, the number on top, 3, is smaller than the number on the bottom. The number in the numerator is smaller than the number in the denominator. The number in the numerator smaller than the number in the denominator. Improper fractions have a numerator that is larger than the denominator. For example, 5/3. 5 in the numerator is larger than 3 in the denominator, and the same for the other two. Mixed numbers contain both a whole number part and a fraction part. For example, 1 2/3 is 1 whole and an extra 2/3. 5 3/4 is 5 whole and 3/4. If we have 3½ buckets of water, how many half buckets does that represent? Well, if my half buckets of water represented by half a shaded circle, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 half buckets of water. So 3½ buckets of water is the same as 7 half buckets of water. So we can say that 3½ is equivalent to 7/2. So if 3½, which is a mixed number, is equal to 7/2, how did we go from the mixed number to the improper fraction? Well, the way we did it was to say that 2 times 3 is 6, plus that 1 is 7. So it becomes 7/2. Let's practice another one. If we had 5 3/4 as the mixed number, what's the improper fraction? It'll be out of 4. What's it going to be? It'll be 4 multiplied by 5, which is 20, plus the 3, it'll be 23/4. On this page there is another example set for you which takes the mixed number and asks you to convert it into an improper fraction. And as the steps are shown for you, I'll let you work that one on your own. But I will set another example for you, which is 5 6/7. That's the mixed number. We're going to turn it into an improper fraction, which will be out of 7. So 7 times 5 is 35, plus the 6, 41/7 is the improper fraction. Now what if you needed to convert a improper fraction back to a mixed number? So the example they've given us here is 59 over 4. That's the improper fraction. We want to make it into a mixed number. Well, it actually means 59 divided by 4. So that's what you need to do. So 4 goes into 5 once with 1 left over. 4 goes into 19 4 times with 3 remaining. So your mixed number is 14 with 3/4 remaining.